Well, here we are at a mini conference for ex-prisoners. Tomorrow we'll be going back into the prison to preach to the present inmates. You've asked me to share a little bit about my own background. I'm now 71 years of age, born in 1941, and I was born into a family that was certainly not likely to produce a minister. My father was the owner of a nightclub, and my mother was the hostess in that club. And at the beginning of the war, when the Nazis were bombing our seaports, one of the direct hits in Southampton was the Peter Pan Club. My father actually died when I was 15 months old, and my mother deserted the family, so I was brought up in an orphanage. By the time I was 15, the time to leave the orphanage, I'd become an inveterate thief. It didn't matter if I needed what I stole or not, I would still steal it. At the age of 15, I joined the army. At the age of 16, I was kicked out of the army for forging post office savings books. So I was now homeless, and I lived by my wits, and I know what it's like to be cold and hungry at night, and I still continued to steal. It was, in a sense, a matter of survival. At the age of 18, I was caught for breaking into more houses, and this time I was sent away to prison. And while I was in prison, I picked up a Bible that had been left in my cell. It was a Gideon Bible. And through reading that Gideon Bible, I came to faith. And that dramatically altered the whole course of my life. 5 years later, I was in Spurgeon's College training for the Baptist ministry. 4 years of training and then into the Baptist ministry, first serving as a pastor for 8 years, and then as the director for Evangelism Explosion in Britain and then the whole of Europe. Some 26 years ago, I founded with my wife an organization called Hope Now. And we served that organization in South Africa and most especially here in Ukraine. I've spent 20 years working in Ukraine, first among prisoners, the like of whom you see here, but also among orphans, rescuing homeless children, working with the hospitals, setting up a Bible school, setting up pre-independence homes for orphans, and so the list went on. Some 3 years ago, I became ill, and through that illness, I eventually decided that I had to retire from Hope Now. But thankfully, God had other plans, because the growths in my trachea stopped growing, and I could then take on a new life, which I have today with Our Father's Arms. Bob McLeod asked me if I would come and serve that organization, most especially here in Ukraine. We're setting up a home for drug addicts and alcoholics. We're also seeking to do further work among orphans. And we're seeing God do some amazing things among many of the prisoners who have become my friends. So it's a wonderful, wonderful life that God has given. I want to ask just 2 of our ex-prisoners to share their testimony with you. Thank you.
Меня зовут Света, мне 36 лет, из которых 12 лет я принимала наркотики и жила в беззаконии и в грехе. За это я попала в тюрьму и там отбывала свой срок. Но в тюрьме Господь нашел меня. И там я покаялась, приняла водное крещение и освободилась оттуда уже будучи верующим человеком. Я благодарю Господа за все, что Он для меня сделал. Он подарил мне прекрасного мужа, который также отбывал срок в тюрьме. Но на данный момент мы сейчас с ним живем, у нас 3 деток, и мы несем с ним служение миссионеров в селе.
Меня зовут Игорь, мне 50 лет. Покаялся я в тюрьме. Какие грехи совершал? Нет, наверное, такого греха, которого я не делал. Бог коснулся меня в тюрьме, сидел неоднократно. И я благодарю Бога, что я был там в тюрьме, и Бог нашел меня там. Благодаря братьям, которые несут служение, Анатолию Перепелице, Вику Джакопсону и другим. Сейчас Бог доручил мне служение реабилитации для алко- и наркозависимых. Благодарю Бога, что Бог мне изменил жизнь от черного к светлому. Слава Богу!